Oh, we on? Man, it's been so long, man. I forgot how to perform in front of the bright lights. You know, it's been a minute, man. Normally, when the lights come on, the camera get the roll, and I jump right in, and I start spitting about what's in back of me here, and that's this here sweet science. You know, but there's still Guard Your Girl boxing. You know, we still doing our thing, man. You know, real life just gets in the way. And, you know, it prohibits us from doing the things that we like to do on the side sometimes. But, you know, we still here to promise the goods, man. Shout out to the Guard Your Girl boxing family out there that's been holding us down, hitting up the message boards, you know, inboxing us, showing us love and support, man. We greatly appreciate that, man. You know, y'all like our heartbeat, man. Y'all keep this thing going, man. But shout out to the team. Big Mike, Doc, Sleep, Rada Da, the Volley Boy, BJ Murray, man. Everybody's still in place. Everybody's still intact, man. And I promise y'all, man, the full Wu-Tang album will be coming out soon, man. You know, no more sidebar projects, man. We'll all form together again like Voltron in a second, man. But again, I appreciate the patience, the love, and the support out there. And let's just get right into it, man. I've been going for a minute. You know, a lot has been taking place in this here sweet science, man. You got the rig and dial. I call it my science club, by the way. You know, I got a new science club, and I'll tell you who's in that science club in just a second. But, you know, you got guys like Rig and Dial out there preserving the sweet science. You know, because for a minute, you know, I thought the sweet science was becoming a lost art in boxing. I thought once you displayed the sweet science that, you know, it wouldn't count for a point decision, that you know, you wouldn't be awarded, displaying your skills and your excellence the way the sport was founded. So, you know, thanks to the boxing, whoever they are, for, you know, keeping the sport intact and preserved back to its rightful beginning. But speaking of Rig and Dial, you know, you had them taking on Donaire. You had Rios Alvarado, Sergio Martinez, Martin Murray. Danny Garcia, Philly's own versus Brooklyn. Zab, Super Judah. That's right, Zab. The cat with 9 lives. He won't go away. He's still there. And, you know, we're going to get into all of it, man. Mayweather versus Robert the Ghost Guerrero. You know, we're going to touch bases on that. What else am I missing here, man? I mean, so much has happened, man. I'm just trying to, you know, hit the meat and potatoes. And forgive me if I missed any fights. We had my man Bernard taking on. Damn, who did Bernard? I'm rusty, man. You know, my 1-2s ain't as crisp as they should be. So I'm forgetting things. I used to know this thing right off the top of my skimmer, man. But now I'm a little slow on the draw, man. That mixed in when I'm getting older too, man. Now, you know, I was a young bull when Guard Your Girl boxing first started, man. Now, you know, I climbed into that next chapter, so my mental ain't what it used to be. So work with me there. Work with me here, folks. Oh, Tavares Cloud is who we fought. You know, shout out to B-Hop, you know, for walking through, you know, once again, you know, showing why he's, you know, the head father figure of that Sweet Science Club I was just talking to y'all about, man. It's amazing. This guy's 48 years old, going on 49, and he's still able to do the things that he does in a boxing ring. And you can get into Tavares Cloud was a handpicked opponent. But in the grand scheme of things, you know, who else was he to fight? You know, the guy had the belt. You know, I know he didn't look bad. I know Tavares Cloud looked bad in his last fight. And I always knew Bernard would give him trouble, despite how he looked in his last fight. But again, man, you got to get a dude his props, man. He's 49 years old, and he's still displaying a serious set of skills in the ring. And, you know, we might not never see this again. So I want everybody to appreciate what they're witnessing now, because, you know, you might not ever get a chance to see a 49, almost a 50-year-old guy capturing world titles, shutting out guys that's like 12 to 15, almost 20 years his junior. So I want y'all to take heed in that, man. I always tell y'all to honor y'all. This is y'all generation. You know, I done went through a few of them, you know what I'm saying? But the younger guys, this is your current generation. So cherish the moment, man. But, you know, boxing, man, again, man, I opened the show up. Again, this is Guard Your Girl Boxing. I'm Cold Train. And I opened the show up with talking about the sweet science being preserved, man. I'm very passionate about that subject, about the sweet science, because for a minute it looked like we was taking a detour off the road. And don't get it twisted. I love I forgot about Bradley and the Russian kid, and I'm not about to butcher my man name up because I forgot how to pronounce his name. So I'm gonna just call him the Russian kid, no pun intended. You know, but Bradley went toe to toe with this guy. I think the week before that we had the Rios Alvarado fight. You know, and it was just they was in a pocket mixing it, and it was a classic phone booth battle for you young folks out there. And I'm only bringing this up because my daughter was playing Saints Row or one of those games, and one of the I know that's a whole nother story. I let my daughter play Saints Row. Modern day parents, man, what do y'all want from me? And she was smacking somebody with a phone booth. And she was like, look, she's like, what is, my daughter didn't know what, she's like, look at this phone thing and whatever, call it a phone. I'm like, yeah, before there were cell phones all over the place, you know, there used to be a place where you made phone calls out of, was called a phone booth. And that was a term used in boxing. When you had toe-to-toe fights, you called them phone booth battles. Because a phone booth is a closed-in area like a closet where you would go in and make phone calls. So anyhow, back off the sidebar, back to the subject at hand, you would mix it up in the phone booth. And that's the kind of fights that we got accustomed to seeing within the month of March and February, whenever those fights took place. So then we just go from there all the way towards the end of the opposite end of the spectrum, which was a total shock to me. I'm talking about Rigondeaux versus Nonito Donaire, because I had no expectation. You know, I didn't have this kind of expectation of the fight that took place. The way it played out last couple weeks ago. You know, I got fooled and shocked and thinking that Rigondeaux wasn't ready. I always knew he was a good little fighter. I thought he had a nice slick game. You know, I see more of Sweet Pea in him than Floyd Mayweather. And I'm not saying he's Sweet Pea, and I'm not saying he's Mayweather. I'm just saying that the way he fights, the way he uses a lot of athleticism. He's more of a decent defensive fighter than an offensive fighter, and that's more like Sweet Pea-esque than more like Mayweather is what I'm getting at. And you know, I just thought Donaire. For one, I still think Donaire is a good fighter. I don't think he's overrated. I think people throw that term around too much. Donaire was doing what he was supposed to do. He was beating guys that he should beat. You know, a couple stiff tests that he walked through them. I thought that Donaire possessed a great set of skills. I think he got one of the best lead right hands in boxing. I think he has, you know, great movement. I thought he uses his height well. And unfortunately, he ran into a guy that was just better than him, skill-wise. And that happens. We got to get out of this mindset thinking because a fighter lose. This is this new way of thinking as boxing fans. As soon as a guy loses a fight, oh, he got exposed, he's overrated. No, he beat a guy that was better than him. Because what is that? Because that's taking credit away from Rigondeaux. These are the same people that probably said Nonito Donaire would walk through right through Rigondeaux. Then once he boxed circles around him, because I had Donaire maybe winning 3 rounds in that fight, and he put on a boxing lesson. It was a masterpiece. I mean, the circling, the sitting on the toilet like Sweet Pea. In case people don't know what that means, you know, getting low to the ground, slipping punches. You know, the stage left and stage right, the misdirection. I mean, his footwork was phenomenal. I always told y'all I had a foot fetish. No Collins. No, I didn't mean that. You know, we're equal opportunity here on Guard Your Girl Boxing. But you understand what I'm saying when I say I got a foot fetish. I love watching fighters work their feet in the ring. Sometimes I don't even focus on punches because footwork is so important because it gives, you know, I talked about Bernard with Tavares Clower, it's the angles. Everything's about angles. It's almost like geometry when you're in the ring. That's why they're called sciences, man. These dudes are scientifically gifted. And Rigondeaux restored the order a couple Saturdays ago when he fought Nonito Donaire, man. It was beautiful. And people called it boring. No, this is boxing. See, you people, you know, you're brainwashed into car explosions and, you know, 20-minute car chases and 30-minute shootout scenes, you know. But this used to be a story, and it had layers to it. It was you know, some stock behind what you did. And I'm not taking away from the car explosions and the 15-minute shootout scenes. I'm just saying every now and then you want to see a good story being told leading up to the drama. And that's what Rigondeaux gave us. And I want you people to be appreciative of that. You would have no sport if it wasn't for the sweet science. You know, the sweet science was hit and not be hit. You know, again, I love the action, the toe-to-toe battle, but everybody has their choice. Some people like Chinese food, some people like Mexican or Italian or soul food, you know, so everybody got their thing that they like, you know, and I love the sweet science, man, and I'm glad, you know, I'm seeing it it's back, you know, and it looks like it's going to be around for a minute. But props to Rigondeaux, man, for basically almost putting on a shutout against a gangster. And Nonito Donaire, who was a lot of people had him 2, 3. Some people wouldn't even move him up to 1. Top 3 pound for pound. He walked right through him like it was nothing. Box circles around him. Yes, he boxed circles around him. And, you know, again, props to him, man. And it's more to come, man. There's a lot of young fighters out there that's climbing the ladder. And I'm glad to see that, man. Because, again, I thought it was dying at one point. You know, will he make money, though, and become a star? Who knows and who cares at this point? I'm just glad as a boxing fan I got a chance to see what I saw. Moving right along, I'm not gonna go too far back because we're way behind with schedule wise recapping these fights. I had that knot I wanted to get out of my chest, and I think I did that pretty well. So I'm gonna move on to last Saturday card, Martin Murray versus Sergio Martinez. Now, I'm for one, and I'll be, you know me, I keep it all the way 1,000 here, man. And I thought Martin Murray was just a sitting duck in a pond for Sergio Martinez. I thought the whole thing was a setup. Not set up like he was judges, was in the fix, and none of that. I mean, set up like he was there to be an opponent for Sergio Martinez, and for Sergio Martinez to look good, and, you know, maybe move on in September and fight. What's my man name? Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. or something, and just cash out into the sunset. But boy, was I ever wrong. Martin Murray, man, and to everybody that was kind of hitting me up behind the scenes, telling me like, "Yo, train, watch out for this dude." I remember, I forget my man's name. He emailed me like 5 months ago and told me Martin Murray was going to beat him, and how he did it, and he did it exactly that. He told me he was going to walk him down with a high guard, and basically like 1-2 him to death, and that's what he did. And, you know, some people, and I heard the HBO telecast saying, like, that Martinez, you know, had injuries and, you know, he looked older and he looked slower. That, I did see some of that. I did see that Martinez. See, one thing, the way Martinez fighting is kind of what happened to Roy Jones. And not saying that Martinez is Roy Jones, but when you fight strictly off athleticism with no really science behind it, once those reflexes ain't there, you can't get out of the way of punches like you used to. You could be walked down like kind of the way Martinez was walking down. Now, let me say that I thought Martinez did enough to win the fight. I think I had it 114, 113. I wrote it down. I don't have the piece of paper with me. I thought it was a razor-thin fight. And the only reason why Martinez won the fight is because I thought Murray didn't do enough early. I think it was like a shutout for like the first 4 or 5 rounds. Now, Murray wasn't awarded with the second knockdown that he got. It should have been 2 knockdowns. The one was a flush right hand that, you know, Roy Jones called it. You can't back up with your hands down like that. I don't give a damn who you are. And, you know, Martinez was sort of off balance. He had his hands down, and he got caught with a right hand. But Martin Murray, like, it was kind of Kelly Pavlis-esque. The way he did it, he was a gangster 1-2 that he walked him down with. He kept an earmuff high guard. You know, he worked behind the muffs. He didn't get discouraged by the movement and the speed of Martinez, and stayed to his game plan. And to you young fighters out there, young fight fans out there, I thought Martin Murray displayed a great deal of patience. So many times you see young fighters abandon a game plan because it's not working. See, there's a difference. Like, you can go to sometimes you got to make adjustments. You got to go to a plan B and C. But then sometimes you just got to stay with plan A. You know, sometimes plan A is the only plan. And he had the right, he was cutting the ring off properly. The way he was walking Martinez backwards, and it was somewhat tiring Martinez out, because I always tell you, to move around like that, you got to be in great shape to move around without throwing punches, or when you're throwing punches. And Martinez absorbs a lot of energy. He's doing all these shoulder movement. He's like he's in the exercise. It looked like he got one of those 15